So this morning I need to get some, well, specifically one cow into the race. She's due an injection to test for TB. Also there's blocks coming, alpha blocks, kind of bunker walls for a new shed. 2 loads coming today, one tomorrow, one the day after. Got a wee party of cows following me this morning. Morning Holly! So I'm just in the field of rape at the moment. Oh, it's class. Big breakdown. It's the drill working there. I was away and picked up some feed for the cows and Highland cows and whatnot all along here. It's in that trailer, so I just got a wee bit. So hopefully it'll just tip into that bucket and I'll not break anything. Nothing's gonna go badly. It's been a great idea. I will be doing it again. Yesterday I missed it, was away. 22 mil of rain in an hour. 22 mil of rain in a whole day is a lot of rain. So it was absolutely howling down. We've got some barley along the road, which I don't know if they got the rain along the road, but it won't have stood up to it, I don't think, if they got it. It's soaking in here and there's a roof on it. That's how much rain's come through the door. So obviously over the weekend, Ralston, the digger guys, have been to cut the slab. So you see here, that cut all the way along there. That's the expansion joint. One pallet of OSB board there. There's still one just to take off the lorry, but that's arrived now. It was meant to arrive last week, but anyway, he's not needing it until now, so it's fine. Cost a fortune, that stuff. £16 a sheet. It was, the last load was £10 a sheet, so in 2 months it's gone up 60%. Nuts. One more pallet full, grab that off now. That lorry driver's going to need security with him soon enough. The amount of wood he's carrying, thousands of pounds worth. Wild. Also it is howling down. 22 mil in an hour yesterday, and now it's just still pouring down the ski. You kind of can't tell on camera. We'll need to lock this stuff up. Water pressure in the farm's been a bit low, and also you can see there's flooding down there. So didn't think that was just all the rain, but we weren't too sure. So woman who does all the hens on the farm noticed this pipe in here, that connection in there was leaking. This is just a hose up to the shed so they can get water supply, and it was pouring out of there. So because there'd been so much rain, that was all buried and we didn't notice it. But anyway, noticed it now, I've just fixed it. Shouldn't leak anymore, but it's caused a big lot of puddle down there, and it won't disappear now because it's raining as well. So, so much flipping water. On the bright side, shed looks good. Gutters work. Look at it. Oh jeez. There's a drain in here, so this is below the grain dryer. It's getting quite deep, so just opened it up a wee bit more. It's obviously got blocked with all the gunk and rubbish, so cleared it out and you can see it now draining away. So it's starting to get to the level where it was entering into the conveyors, and you don't want that, it just causes a lot of havoc. So we'll get this water away. Oh jeez, look at the bottom of the elevator there, that's not good for it. Anyway, hopefully get that drained away, but all the moss has come off the roof for that heavy rain, just battered it off, and it's all landed in here and then blocking the drain. Anyway, there's wool here, insulation for the conversion of that old straw shed to the store. Go and take that off. Lorry's waiting for me. Whoa! There's another pallet to come. Specifically, non-combustible insulation. So it'll not light on fire, and it'll keep it warm in the winter, cold in the summer. Load number 2. There's some of that insulation. That board's up now. Another board around the corner is up. He's just making the other ones for that side. Just filled up the forklift with diesel. Question of the day though, what is the reason for that diesel tank being squint? Setting up some gates for the morning. The cattle beast that needs to be tested for TB. Good to go in the morning. Just need to swing. There's a gate on a hinge on the race there. Swing that round, and the same exactly where I'm standing. That gate, swing it round. Only annoying thing is we tend to need the forklift and the quad bike to round them up, and because there's been so much rain, the forklift's going to make a right mess in that field. I'll try it first of all with the forklift, with the quad bike on its own. So this morning we've just brought in a few of the cows because we need to test one of them. One's to be tested for TB because the herd it came from or its surrounding area has kind of had a case of TB. Really don't want a case of TB. It's unlikely, but I'm not going to say anything too soon. Touch wood, it's not got TB, because if it does, it'll have to be slaughtered and the herd will be under kind of movement restrictions. It's not great. So testers coming out today. They'll inject it and then they'll come back on Friday to test it. Come on. So that cow right there, it'll be injected with avian and bovine tuberculin, and 72 hours later, give or take 4 hours apparently, she'll be tested, and then hopefully it'll come back negative. If not, a bit of a shocker. She'll have to be slaughtered, and I think the herd will be put on restriction, and then I don't know whether we need to test the other ones as well, probably.
Basically with this, it's a comparison.
Yep.
So I'm going to give her an avian TB in here and the bovine there.
Yep.
Basically, as long as your top lump, any lumps, as long as the top is bigger than the bottom, you're okay. Yeah, it's fine.
She's away out. She's had her 2 injections. Friday they'll come back and test it. So that's that cattle beast injected in 2 sites. She explained it very well, so you'll have heard that better than me explaining it. But yeah, it came from Ireland originally, over to England or Wales, I'm not sure, and then up to Scotland. So yeah, they're just tracking all the cases. They have to go and test a few more associated with the kind of outbreak. It's not an outbreak, or just there was a single animal with it. She suspected it will be a slaughterhouse incident, so they have to associate all the animals round about that animal and test them. Lorry there to pick up the cherry pickers. They'll be off of hire and away again. First lorry's on the way with the bunker walls, so grab a couple of chains to shift them about. So I'm just going to clear some space to put the blocks down, because they come in a lorry flat, so you have to shift them to where you want flat and then put a hook in one end and you lift them up. So we'll try and lift them all off, lay them all out flat so the lorry can leave, and then we'll shift them all up one by one. So I'll shift this trailer out of the way and I'll put them all along that back wall of the shed. Just shifting them with the forklift just now. That's the forklift and cherry pickers all the way. There's a load there. That's them all finished with. They still need kit to finish this gable end, guttering and whatnot, so next week there's a smaller cherry picker coming and a scissor lift. Just grabbed a wee pile of cardboard there, and then what I'll do is I'll put them down a bit of cardboard at each end, just to save them chipping, because when I have to lift them up to straight, you'll need to pivot on the bottom edge up the way like that, so if they're on a piece of cardboard they're less likely to get scratched, well, chipped more than scratched. I'm not worried about getting scratched, but don't want them to chip. Here are the blocks. There's how many here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 10 on this lorry, but they've forgotten the pins that, well, they were on the first lorry. This is obviously lorry number 2. So there's meant to be hooks that go in here and up there to lift them with a forklift, but they've forgotten them, or they're on a different lorry. So he's on the phone at the moment. See what happens. So he's phoned the other lorry and it's an hour away, so an hour and then the hooks will be right here. So the company that we bought them from, Moore, and an Irish company, did a bit of research before that and they are the best quality apparently. You can get ones that are kind of a bit more rough, and ready, but these are the better quality ones, and it just so happened that the shed suppliers also use this company, so it was fine all going through that route. Didn't need to figure out any other methods or any other people to get them from. These were the ones we wanted, so just worked fine. These are the shackles we were waiting for. So they're all got inserts in them to put the shackles into. One here, one down there. So you put them both on when they're flat, lift them on the forklift, so we had a chain to hook into both, lift them up, place them down, and then you'll have seen, and you saw us lifting them up, you put a pin through one of the holes, hoist them up, and that's them flat, and then you're just shifting them about with the pallet forks. There. Easy as that. But they're heavy, they're 2.7 ton. So I mean, you get a wee bit extension on the forklift, that's a 3.6 ton capacity. So you extend that a wee bit and you're soon getting a bit wobbly, so just got to be careful taking them off. Didn't want to chip them, didn't want to bash them and break them. Because concrete's quite prone to cracking if it gets it done. There's no flexibility in it really, just cracks and gives way. So try and look after them as much as possible. So that's them laying about the shed. I'm just going to shift them all here because there's another load coming tomorrow, so we need the room over there. I'll just give it a wee extension. You can see how that's the limit on the forklift there. So boomed out, there's a marker on it, that's half a metre. That's it, that's the limit. Won't go any further. Yeah, so that's a metre basically extension. So you're definitely not getting a 2 metre extension on the boom with these on. That's at the limit. Lorry driver was saying, I mean, takes a load or one or two of them to garden centres and whatnot. They've just got a wee piddly wee forklift and they don't really realise how big they are and can't get them off. Just shifting the last of these panels out the road, and I've already managed to take a wee chunk out of one. Damn. Basically, I put it down in place and I wanted to shift it a wee fraction forward, and I've obviously put it down, tilted back a wee fraction, so this edge was on the ground, shifted it a wee bit and it just ripped the corner out of it. I mean, that's going to happen, still annoying. I think these are going to be the kind of thing you just want to move as little as possible. So hopefully the way the concrete works in the new shed, I'll just position them when I move them from this shed into position and they won't need moved again. Otherwise they'll just start getting more chips and cracks. It's not bad, like it's still going to seal and they're still going to do their job, but purely to look at, it's going to wind me up. That's them all there. Well, that's half of them, 2 more loads to come. So they're 3 metre tall by 1.2 metre wide 2.7 ton. So they'll basically line up like these two, but just a lot of them in a line, and then that gives you a wall, kind of a partition within a shed to work with. And the way they're shaped, kind of wide at the base, one, so there's a lot of weight on the base and a lot of weight to them, and two, when the grain's sitting there, there is a bit of downward force sitting on that kind of ledge to keep it from sliding out so much. So that's why they're designed like that. Fork holes to put the forks into and shift them about. Ideally we won't shift them too much because they start to chip and break them. It's a sample spear, so if you want to sample some grain that's in a seed bag or any bag, you poke that end into the bag, the seed falls into there, and you can collect it out of that chute, and then you take it out and tape over the gap again. We're just using it at the moment. That's getting a few samples of one old wheat seed to check if it's all right, its germination's fine, and also some barley to get a calibration of our own moisture meter. Big new green machine, but that's not our one.